The House of Representatives Committee on Commercialization and Privatization has given a 60-day ultimatum for the reconstruction work at the Port Harcourt Port Terminal B to commence. The ultimatum was given to the Nigerian Port Authority and all parties involved at an investigative hearing on the decommissioning of the terminal by the Nigerian Port Authority due to deteriorating infrastructure at the terminal. According to the NPA, the decommissioning was effected after the terminal operators refused to fulfill its end of the agreement. Our correspondent Terry Kumi reports.
Delegation from NPA.
The meeting between the House of Representatives Committee on Commercialization and Privatization and the Nigerian Port Authority, the Bureau of Public Enterprises and the terminal operators over the decommissioning of the Port Terminal B in Port Harcourt began with the chairman of the committee expressing the committee's disappointment.
Having just completed the oversight of Apapa and Tinkan ports in Lagos, which were very busy and in fact congested, suffocating from poor port access roads leading to massive gridlock, for the committee to find that the terminal is decommissioned and is of very serious concern to us.
NPA had decommissioned the whole concession arrangement, claiming that the unsafe operational environment needed urgent repairs and reconstruction, but the operators had failed to do so.
We gave BUA the 4-month period. After the expiration of that, we had to issue the notice of termination in accordance with the provisions of the agreement.
When we were to start the reconstruction, there was abandoned iron ore at Bat 8, and that was where the contractors told us they were going to take the alignment to make the bats two straight bats.
We have always pointed out those things to them and urged them to comply with those agreements. So our position is that we want this matter to be mediated upon. BP is willing to be part of the mediation efforts. We want all matters in court eventually withdrawn.
Following the intervention of the Attorney General of the Federation, a review of the agreement is expected to be carried out, and the committee wants it done quickly.
With an interface by this committee, yours and all the operators, and we can get all these issues of supplemental review renewal under 60 days, properly commissioned, and all of us will be there when the NPA will be signing, when BP will be signing.
The lawmakers also want a committee constituting all parties involved, including the House Committee on Commercialization and Privatization, to follow up with the Attorney General of the Federation and all relevant agencies to ensure completion and execution of the project within the resolved time frame. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
This may not be the best of times for the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria and its access gate contractor, as the concessionaire has accused the Airports Authority of contempt of courts and vandalism of its properties. The solicitor to the concessionaire, Charles Epoman, laments the act, saying that it was unlawful. Meanwhile, the chairman of the aviation unions at the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Ahmed Danjuma, did not deny the vandalism of the power and water sources, but insists that the contractor has been asked to vacate the premises.
This is the access gate of the Muritala Muhammed International Airport in Lagos, where thousands of cars ply every day. Since the 3rd of February 2020, when aviation unions dislodged the concessionaire, the dust raised are simply not settled. For the concessionaire, farmers disobeyed a court order asking the airport authority to return to status quo. Beyond this, the compound was also invaded by unions who cut off the source of power and water.
Incidents of yesterday, the 20th day of February 2020, where found, despite the pendency of this suit, still resorted to self-help, vandalized property of iCube.
The aviation unions in FAN do not deny the fact that they disconnected power here. An official says the contractor has been asked to vacate the premises.
The last inspection went on Monday. We told our management they were going to cut off their light and water, which we believe could be a step in the right direction for us to reclaim our property. We took that action yesterday for national interest and for our own interest.
While the Aviation Union says the concessionaire has had a field day and it's bye-bye to its services, the company will not have any of this.
FAN is becoming to form a pattern. If they think that they have had enough of you as a concessionaire, they will send the union after you.
It is not FAN against ICube or union against ICube. No, a contract expired a year ago, for goodness sake.
While this war rages, many airport stakeholders say that FAN must find an amicable way to end its contractual agreement, as some of its contracts with concessionaires has ended with one form of crisis or another. Bukola Joe Oketumbi, Channels Television News.
The Osun State Council of Traditional Rulers today suspended the Oluwo of Iwo, Oba Abdulrasheed Akombi, for attending any of its activities for 6 months. The traditional ruler's suspension comes a few weeks after he reportedly assaulted another monarch, the Agbo of Ogbagba, Oba Hikirolahi Akinrogbo, at a peace meeting with the Assistant Inspector General of Police in Zone 11, Bashiru Makama. The Council of Traditional Rulers at their emergency meeting, presided over by the Oni of Ife, Obadeye Ogunwusi, thereafter suspended the Olowo for various misconducts unbecoming of traditional ruler. He is also barred from making public statements in the media about fellow monarchs. The council cited instances of the Oluwo's alleged misconduct to the Alake of Egbaland, the Alafin of Oyo, and the Oni of Ife. The committee, headed by the Orangon of Ila, was also set up by the council to investigate what they call various unroyal conducts by the Oluwo and works out how to help in becoming a good and well-behaved Yoruba king. The council left the issues of assault on the Agbo of Ogbagba to the law enforcement agencies to act on. Meanwhile, the Oluwo of Iwo land has faulted the reports that he was suspended. In his reaction, the traditional ruler says that the Osun State Council of Traditional Rulers only recommended his suspension after the council's monthly meeting. He insists that the power to suspend him resides with the state government.
There was no suspension that took place today. The meeting, there was a one main purpose of that meeting, and that meeting was, did this king, Oluwo of Iwo land, did he punch another lesser king under him? And the AIG, Assistant Inspector General of Police, was there. The government officials were there, and they testified, and they told all the kings and the traditional council of Obas meeting, the emergency one that we had today, that no, there was no punching. The other king was rude and started talking to the king and rude, but Oluwo did not do what? He did not say anything, and he did not punch anybody. I'm not suspended. They are writing something to the governor recommending suspension from meetings. I'm still the Oluwo of Iwo land.
A federal high court sitting in Kano today dismissed the preliminary report of the Kano Anti-Graft Commission, which recommended the suspension of Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II over alleged misappropriation of the Emirates Council's 3.5 billion naira. Delivering his judgment on the matter, Justice O.A. Agwata says that the Anti-Graft Commission erred for denying the Emir the opportunity to be heard before the said report was released, adding that such an omission is against the principles of fair hearing. The Emir had sued Governor Abdullahi Ganduje alongside the Kano State Attorney General Ibrahim Mukhtar, seeking a declaration that the findings contained in the Anti-Graft Commission's report submitted in June 2019 was in breach of his fundamental human rights to fair hearing and contrary to the rules of natural justice. Let's flip over to business news now with Teniola Shobowale.
Thanks, Gimba. Welcome to Business News. The central bank has injected $292.34 million into the retail secondary market intervention sales segment of the interbank foreign exchange markets. The dollar-denominated intervention was targeted at requests in the agricultural and raw material sectors of the economy. At the same time, the financial market regulator also injected 22.8 million Chinese yuan into the spot and short-tenured forward segment of the forex market, which is for renminbi-denominated letters of credit. The latest round of intervention follows the supply of $100 million to authorized dealers in the wholesale segment of the market and $55 million each for requests within the small and medium enterprises and the invisibles segment. The Katsina State government is hoping to get 2 billion naira before the end of the year from the Nigeria Export-Import Bank to finance the farming, production and processing of sesame seeds and hibiscus flowers. Speaking during a courtesy visit to the bank, Governor Aminu Masari says the plan is to ensure that the state is able to export processed sesame seeds and hibiscus flowers. The managing director of the bank, Mr. Ababelo, says the bank is prepared to support farmers in Katsina State to cultivate about 1,800 hectares of land for export crops in 2020.
Katsina State is known for farming sesame seed and hibiscus flower. However, the farmers do not have the opportunity to process their farm produce. That is why Governor Bello Masari is leading members of his cabinet to a meeting with the management of the Nigeria Export-Import Bank. Katsina State has already met 60% of the requirements to access a 2 billion naira credit facility from the bank.
This money is meant for development at the rural level that will make the commodity available. On our part, Katsina State government is developing 800 hectares of economic green zone along Gujibia, purposely for export.
Primary production.
The bank has mapped out 1 billion naira each to support non-oil export products across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory.
A cooperation has been signed between NASAL and a proposed aggregator who already have 1,800 hectares of land and signed up over 1,000 farmers that would process this season of sesame from Katsina State, and we hope to see it to the conclusion. That I believe I can make a commitment, and His Excellency can hold me to it.
At least 5 states have been able to access the seed funds for the non-oil export products, and the management of the bank is hoping that more states will come on board.
The 24 billion naira loan gain recorded this week is wiped off at the close of today's stock trading session after intense sell pressure hit the consumer goods sector of the market. Layo Adegoke has details of Friday's transactions at the NSE.
Thanks a lot, Teniola, and welcome to the Stock Market Report. A whopping 94 billion naira loss is recorded at the close of today's trading on the NSE after intense sell pressure hit the share price of Nestle Nigeria. The 112 naira drop on the consumer goods giant's share price contributed largely to the 0.65% decline in the market's main index, as well as 5.39% drop on its sector's index. The trio of Jaiz Bank, Royal Exchange and Livestock Feeds tops a list of 14 gainers. Skyview Aviation Handling Company led 19 other losers, while Zenith Bank is the highest contributor to 421.27 million total units of shares traded for the day. Well, that's it on the Stock Market Report. I'm Layo Adegoke. Back to you, Teniola.
And that's Business News Tonight. It's back to you, Gimba.